Rising happy Monday. Back every single Monday and Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Manifesting Mondays, Get Nourished Fridays. I'm not sure that I'll be here Friday because I will be in Tulum. What's up, everybody that's joining? I have some fun stuff to discuss today. As you can see, I have a beautiful new necklace. There is copper coiling in there, but I also have, hi everybody, I also have something else really cool to show you. I love manifestation tools, obviously, and I love manifesting. So I draw these things to me, right? I was on, thank you. Yes, I'm a brunette too. For anybody that still has not seen me yet, it's been only a couple of days. So when we have the awareness of these things in our life, right, and we are at a certain frequency with the same things, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm on this frequency, so I attracted it. We're all on a frequency, and it doesn't mean good or bad. It can, depending on the way that you perceive it, but I'm just on this mission of manifestation and learning everything about magnetism. So I was reading an article, and then they were talking about this manifestation tool. So they're like, oh, it's in this podcast. So I was listening to this podcast, and this guy was talking about this copper coil manifestation tool. This is called the Omnicord. I'm going to show it to you, but it's a manifestation tool that you can utilize your own energies into these copper metal wires and the crystal in the center. You can add money to it. You could add your own affirmations to it. And then you literally hold it in your hands. I'm going to show it to you in a second. You hold it in your hands while you're doing your meditation. So if you listen to a guided meditation, or if you're listening to certain frequencies, it literally helps, the frequencies literally help the coils. So I'm going to show it to you. This is it's called an Omnicore. You guys can check them out on Instagram. And literally when you hold this thing in your hands, you guys can see there's a crystal in the middle here. When you hold this thing in your hands, it literally sends chills down your body, in your body. I don't know if everybody has a different effect with it, but for me, as soon as I held it, just waves of cold energy started going over my body, and I was like just shocked by it because I've never worked with copper coiling before. This person hand makes all of these things. You guys can see copper helps plants grow. So I have also my copper water bottle that I drink out of. There's a lot of different healing properties in copper, but this is a manifestation tool. So you can see there's all these spirals, but you can also put, thank you, you can also put money in these coils. If you're manifesting money and wealth, you can write down your affirmations of the things that you're attracting to yourself, and you can put these in the coils. So I think they're like anywhere from $199 or I think like $200 to like $900. There's a lot of different intricate things to these, but he also has necklaces, and the necklace is basically a smaller version of this. This also helps with electromagnetic frequencies. It helps to ground any room. You can attach a grounding cable to this to amplify the power in the coils. It's just really cool, and I love anything that's unique. And this is my journey of, manifesting my greatest life. So there are so many things out there, and I just like to introduce things like this because Dr. Morley Robbins is an expert on health benefits from copper. Love that. It also looks friggin' sweet. Okay, so I have it standing on this really beautiful candle stand. It's a black and white, like marble looking candle stand, and I just had it in my room already, and I'm like, okay, this is where this is gonna live. So this is super exciting. Love this type of stuff. I've already meditated with it quite a few times since I've gotten it a couple days ago, and I didn't put my affirmations in here yet, so I'm going to. So the next time you see this, it will have my affirmations in these coils. But this guy is a small business, and I love to help small businesses. So again, it's the Omnicore. I'll tag him here if you guys want to check it out. And there's tons of literature. He's done so many copper. Hold on. Copper coil Hang on. Coil sphere. So check him out. Because we need to help people that are helping other people and small businesses. He literally hand makes these himself, which is really, really cool. Hey, I pinned that and now it's not pinning. Pin, comment. Okay. So this is one of my newest manifestation tools. But let's get down to, he does make smaller ones. That is, I think that's the 8-inch one. He makes smaller ones, like if you want to travel with it or keep it in your car or something like that. And then also he makes the necklaces that you can wear around your neck. And I've literally had it on since he sent it to me. I think it was Friday that I got it. I am very, very excited about my trip. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. So yes, I'm very excited about my trip. Very, very excited. Especially because it was like 27 degrees here yesterday. So it's going to be super hot where I'm going, which is very, very exciting. What else? I'm trying to think. So I was saying, I was listening to a podcast and this guy starts talking about this Omnicore thing. He's like, it's really cool. It's a manifestation tool. And I just believe that we are led to the things that we are led to based on the frequency and things that we think most about, because that's what we attract to ourselves. So I was thinking about that, and I've just happened to be listening or reading something, and it just shows up. So that's his information. I pinned him in the bottom. So it's Omnicore Tech. So if you guys want to check out these manifestation spheres, which they do way more than manifesting, they harmonize the energy of the body. So these are like replicas of the DNA. And I don't want to get this wrong because I haven't done extensive research on it. I've just been reading it and I haven't actually like really maintained all that information. So I have to do more research so that I can better explain all the things that this does. And it amplifies to a certain amount of feet depending on the size of the sphere, which is also really cool. So what I'm saying is we attract what we are. So this is something that's so deep in my subconscious now about manifestation and things like that. So I truly believe that I'm just on the frequency where I'm just attracting the things that are going to help me on my journey of manifestation, help me on my journey of bringing the things to me that I want and that I desire, right? Hold on, I'm going to answer that question in a second. So Omnicore actually just joined. So if there's any questions that you guys have, I think he's in here. You can ask Seth about this beautiful product that is a manifestation amplification tool. So, okay. Someone asked a question about marriage. So that's a topic that I really like to discuss because, well, if that's the truth, why are we not married yet or whatever? There is something blocking these things. From every person that says that they desire a relationship, there is something within your subconscious that is pushing it away. There is a belief within yourself that does not believe that you are worthy of that, or that it's something that you actually want. Maybe you really desire it, but there's also a blockage in the subconscious that's also pushing it away from you. And whatever your dominant thought is, whatever the dominant thought around love is what is going to be, right? So there's always this thing, that we want to be ready. Oh, I'm just not ready yet. When are we ever really ready to do something? There are times, but most of the time that's just an excuse for something much deeper belief system that we have around not being ready for something. Oh, I'm going to buy this new car, but I'm not ready yet. Oh, I can't wait to live in this beautiful new house, but I just got to make a little bit more money. Or I didn't start this business yet because I'm just not ready yet. I got to just make sure it's mapped out right in my head. You literally need to just kick yourself in the ass to go do whatever it is that you're going to do, or else you're never going to do it. There's always going to be an excuse. But thank you. But when it comes to love and relationships, that is one of the really deep-rooted beliefs that are the hardest to unravel, because it usually comes from our parents or our caretakers as to what we truly believe about ourselves. That maybe our parents didn't spend enough time with us, so you believe that you're not chosen. Maybe your parents never praised you, so you feel that you're not good enough. I'm not good enough for the relationship. There are so many different things and reasons why we manifest certain situations, but it's all based on those beliefs. And when it comes to a relationship and love, there is something that is blocking you, or that belief that you keep manifesting the same people over and over again. Broken people over and over again. Abusive partners over and over again. Dismissive partners. Avoidant partners. All of that has to do with us and what we believe about ourselves. So when it comes to relationships, I just wanted to get into that before I started reading some from the Law and the Promise, is that there is a belief system within us that continues to attract either the same partner or no partner at all. Right? So let's get into the Law and the Promise by Neville Goddard. It's chapter 5, Subtle Threads. Nothing appears or continues in being by a power of its own. So listen to that again. All the things that are happening in the world right now. Nothing appears or continues in being by a power of its own. In other words, things don't just happen by coincidence, by just in, a scenario, or by luck. It doesn't happen that way. Nothing appears or continues in being by a power of its own. Events happen because comparatively stable imaginal activities created them, and they continue in being by virtue of the support they receive from such imaginal activities. So he's saying these things cannot continue to happen unless our imaginal acts, which is our subconscious mind, continues to allow them to come into being by our belief system. So constantly keeping people in a state of fear, in a state of low vibration, in a state of helplessness and hopelessness, or what can continue to create the scenarios that we're seeing today. If we all truly stood in our power, and if we all stood in a high vibrational space, the things that are currently unfolding would not be able to. It's just the true laws of the universe. Imaginal activities created them, and they continue in being by virtue of the support they receive. If you are supporting the fear, if you are pushing out the fear, if every day you're continuing to share propaganda, look what they're doing now, look what he said, look what she is doing over here, you're helping to spread fear to people. Although many people will argue and say, well, we have to bring awareness to this and to that. Sensationalism is different than sharing knowledge. If you're going to share bits of information, also share a solution to that bit of information. When people just share headlines, alarmist headlines, you are doing nothing good for the greater good. You're sharing fear. And that's what I have a problem with so many of these political influencers that just constantly share headlines all the time. Scare the shit out of people. Make people fight in the comment section. Argue with each other. That only keeps us right here. That events happen because stable imaginal activities created them. If we continue to share propaganda all the time, our imaginal act, what is programming our subconscious, is going to continue to create them. Because we are supporting them with our thoughts. I didn't make this up. This is just the way we work. The part which imagining the wish fulfilled plays in consciously creating circumstances is obvious in these series of stories. So he's saying that living in the wish fulfilled, so whether we know it or not, whatever is our dominant thought, or our dominant beliefs rather, that is only what we can create more of. So if we are all focused on this banking system collapsing instead of the solutions around it, buying the precious heavy metals, having tangible items, since money is not backed by anything, if you can afford to buy land, coming up with solutions instead of focusing on, oh my God, the banking system's going to collapse and now what are we going to do? And oh my God, I'm so scared and I'm going to lose everything. There is solution-based thinking and there is problem-based thinking. So we have a choice what we're going to participate in. And that is why I say with the sensationalized headlines all the time, it leaves people in a perpetual state of fear and that you are helpless and cannot do anything to change these things. So if we want to really be involved with manifestation and co-creating the reality that we truly want, feeding the fear is not a part of that. Feeding the fear is not a part of drawing the things that you really truly want to yourself. Okay, let's move on. Okay. The images of our imagination are the realities of which any physical manifestation is only the shadow. That's a really important sentence. Let's read it again. The images that we hold in our imagination are the reality of which any physical manifestation is only the shadow. If we have scenarios in our life that have unfolded, can you rewind and walk yourself back to how they actually became a three-dimensional reality? We can. We totally can. Even, for example, I was in a really rotten mood one day, and I'm just like, just bad things kept happening. And I'm like, this was before I was doing like manifesting work and things like that. And I was just so angry that day, mad at the world. And I was just like, is anything else going to happen? Right? Just that statement alone is my low vibration, is me asking the universe, is anything else bad going to happen to me today? And the universe is like, hold on, wait a second. I'll have something bad happen to you. So I was going to Woodland Hills to get a facial because I'm obsessed with skincare. So I go to turn into the gas station to get gas. I've gone into this gas station hundreds of times. Turned into the gas station up the driveway, but instead of being on the driveway, I hit a curb that was like this high, and it was a bright red curb. I've turned into this gas station so many times, but because my vibration was so low, I was just waiting for something else to happen. And surely enough, something else happened, and I smashed my brand new Mercedes right into a high curb. There was like $8,000 worth of damage on the car because of where my vibration was. I attracted that to myself. So I could have walked myself back. I could still walk myself back right now as to why that happened to me. I was asking for it. I was asking, is anything else bad going to happen to me today? And I was in the worst mood. And surely enough, I did $8,000 of damage to my car, turning into a gas station that I went into hundreds of times living in Los Angeles for 15 years. So if we ask the universe, God, the creator, for certain things, and we are on a certain frequency, be prepared to get the answer that you are asking for, whether you are knowing or unknowingly asking for it. What's up, everybody just joining? Let's see if I missed anything. You guys are quiet today. So going back to vibration. Can we walk ourselves back in many of the situations, in all the situations of our life of things that have unfolded? If you're working on a big project, you're like, this is never going to be successful. This is going to be terrible. This is going to suck. Surely enough, what happens? Your boss doesn't like it. Projecting. In a relationship, if you're constantly thinking this person's going to cheat on me, he's never going to be faithful, she's probably out flirting with somebody else, blah, blah, blah. Surely enough, eventually that happens. Why? Not because that person's a bad person. I'm not judging. I don't think that's right. But because this is what you attracted to yourself. You attracted a partner that sees you in the same exact way that you see yourself. I'm not chosen. I'm not worthy of being faithful to. We get that? God always says, yes, ask the right requests. So that statement alone right there is that there is no good or bad when you're asking God or the universe. You're just putting out a frequency. And that frequency is going to be answered in the form of a yes, no matter what it is. If it's good or if it's bad, it's going to be answered to you in a yes. The universe or God's not going to say, I'm not going to give that to you because it's going to hurt you. I'm not going to do this for you because this is going to happen. It's according to the frequency that you're putting out into the world that you get the answer to. So if you believe, I'm never loved, your parents never loved you, so therefore you go out into the world, I'm not loved, I'm never chosen, this person would never love me, like, yeah, we'll be happy in a relationship, but then eventually we'll get married and then we'll get divorced. The belief systems we have around relationships, around money, around the homes that we live in, around the things that we have, or the experiences that we have, are the experiences that we're going to have. It's that simple. We can call in the things that we want when we're in these temporary vibrational states. But if the dominant and underlying belief is the opposite, that's going to come into your life and it's going to go out as fast as it came in. Is this subconscious, do you think? Without question, it's our subconscious. Because we all have these programmings, and I go back to the same analogy all the time. I go back to the same thing all the time. If you have a certain game uploaded into your computer, but you want to play a different game that's not uploaded into your computer, how are you going to play that game if you never uploaded that programming? And it's the same thing with our supercomputer, which is our consciousness. We have certain programmings from our childhood that lead us to become the people that we are. We don't realize that this is how this game works until we actually start looking into things, until we stumble upon different types of wisdom. Then you understand, like, I am the driver in my car. I'm not in the passenger seat and life is driving me around. I am the writer, I am the director, I am the star of my film. So how I want that movie to play out is really up to me because I'm the writer. So I can rewrite these scripts. If I don't like the way a scenario is happening in my world, I can rewrite it. And then as the main star of the show, I get to then act it out. But if we don't understand these things, then we just think that life happens to us by chance, by luck or bad luck. But the reality is that we draw things to us based on our beliefs about ourselves, what our consciousness is programmed, whether it is from generations ago, if it's generational traumas or things like that. We have to continue to move that energy and not allow it to stay stuck within us. And it takes work. It takes work to reprogram things that have been stuck in your consciousness for decades or hundreds of years when it's passed down. And like we can change the color of our hair. Exactly. We can change it through programming. I programmed the strands of my hair to absorb darker ink in the same way, or dye, in the same way with our mind. I can reprogram my mind to see things very differently than the way that I see things now. Because everything that we see, there could be two people staring at the same piece of art and two people see things in completely different ways. I see this happy painting with, it gives this description. The other person sees the exact same painting, but sees it completely differently. And that's the same thing with our consciousness. Everything is about perception. We can be viewing life exactly the same, with a person by your side exactly the same, and they're having a completely different experience. Why? Because their programming is completely different than yours. Even if it's a sibling, parent, we all have our different way of viewing life because of our subconscious beliefs and programming. I think it happens with all art, and life is art. Anything that we look at in life is art, and we all see it differently based on our beliefs. You can meet someone sitting at the same table as each other, and they're both looking out into the world, and one person had a really shitty life and the other person had a really great one, their outlooks are going to be totally different. So keeping that in mind, how are you going to go out into the world? Are you going to allow yourself to continue to allow the subconscious programming to create a reality that you don't want? Or are you going to go in and correct that? You know what? I don't like seeing my life this way anymore. So how can I fix that? How can I can start a gratitude journal. I can listen to reprogramming audios at night. I can go to an energy facilitator and have them shift my energy and blockages. How can I do this life different? Because we all have the choice to do that. And if we feel that we don't, we're just going to think and feel that we're victims of life. We're not victims of anything. We attract things to us based on our beliefs. And our beliefs are what project out into the universe our vibrational frequency. How many times do you meet somebody and it's like the sun shines out of their ass? You're like, I don't understand. Like, how is this person just like happy and positive all the time? Like, how does this happen? It's all a state of mind. Jim. It's all a state of mind. We can literally have someone sit next to us. We had the same experiences all day, right? We see the same things. We go to the same places. We're side by side all day long. Both of our experiences are going to be completely different. One person will be like, oh, I hate this. I hate going out in nature. Like, look at these stupid trees. Like, why are we here? This is so dumb. And the other person's like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, look how much life this gives to us on earth. It's all perception and it's all programming. Like, if I took my mom for a stroll through the woods, like, she would not appreciate it at all. And I'm like in heaven and she's just like, there's so many bugs out here. It stinks. I want to go home. It's all different programming. She was brought up. She was spoiled. My grandmother complained all the time. So she got that from her. Whereas my dad loves nature. They couldn't have been more opposite. But it's all according to our programming. We can have the same experiences at the same exact time, but have completely different experiences at the same exact time. I'm in the process of finishing a song that deals with creating your reality. Please send it to me when you're done. I would love to listen to it. Your state of mind didn't stop COVID lockdown and jabs taking other lives. So here's what I have to say to that. Because COVID lockdown didn't stop me from living my life. This is a good one. I'm so glad that you brought it up, actually. During lockdown, when everybody was in their house, scared to death, I was out living my life. There was never one time where I allowed lockdowns to stop me from living my life. So I did stop lockdowns for myself. I did encourage millions of people around the world to not live in fear, which is why my page blew up the way that it did. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. Because I actually did. Because I'm powerful enough. We're all powerful enough as individuals. I actually did stop COVID lockdowns for many people. When I was out every single day in stores, videotaping myself out every single day. I was out without a mask every single day. I got in fights every single time I left my house without wearing a mask, which was always. So that I can prove that you are powerful enough to make this all go away. I'm not going to talk about the other thing because I don't want to get into that on here. But I've saved a lot of people. So I'm so glad that you brought that up and said my state of mind didn't stop COVID lockdowns. My state of mind did. In my reality, it did. And for millions of other people that saw my videos and were inspired by my courage, actually it did. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm so glad that you brought that up. Thank you very much. Perfect point. Perfect point in case. You didn't stop lockdowns. Actually, I did. My power in my mind actually did for many, many people around the world. And all the other people that began speaking out. We did actually stop that. Because in my reality, I wasn't allowing anybody to tell me what I was going to do. Because my reality creates my 3D reality. My consciousness creates my 3D reality. And nobody is going to tell me that I can't do something. So because I'm not, we're not going to talk about that. Because the shit, I can't keep rambling on because I got to get out of here in like 2 minutes. But anyway, I'm so glad that someone brought that up, because it just proves right there how powerful we are. I went out every single day of lockdown, and it's still on my stories. My what are they called? The highlights of me and my mother out in stores every single day. Every single day without a mask. That just goes to prove your state of mind creates your reality. So my state of mind was, no one's going to tell me what I'm going to do with my body. And so I walked into the world with that belief, and I did everything that I wanted to do without anybody stopping me. Why? Because I'm fearless. Why? Because I'm powerful. Why? Because I believe in my sovereignty. As a child, no one could ever control me. So do you think as an adult, someone is going to control me and tell me what I should do? That is part of manifestation, is knowing your power. So I'm so glad that someone just said that. They are still up. They should be in my highlights. That someone just said, and there's also my other videos that went viral in 2020. That actually made my morning. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I do not comply. That's it. I do not comply. And I never did comply. So to think that my reality that I lived in and created didn't help anybody else with lockdowns is so ridiculously foolish, because it only takes one person. It only takes one person to encourage you to stand in your power. It only takes one person to realize you can do what you want to do because you are a free living being. It only takes one. So I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that perfectly wraps up everything that we're talking about. You didn't stop. Your mental space didn't stop lockdowns. Oh, but it did. Oh, but it did. For many, many people. People, yes. I don't even want, like, that just literally brought me down to a lower space than I wanted to start my Monday out with. But there will always be naysayers, no matter what it is you do, no matter how good you do it. I'm not talking about me, I'm saying in general. There will always be people that doubt the things that you're capable of. And what the end of this message today is, because I can't stay on long today, is know your power. And don't allow anyone to think that they could take it away from you. When you're prepared mentally, when you're prepared in the physical world, when you're prepared in your soul for things, no one can take that away from you. So there's always going to be people that want to bring you down. There's always going to be people that, oh, well, you didn't change this and this happened. I create my reality. The only message I can give to people today is that you create your reality with your mind. So if you think I'll never be able to do this, well, they said that I can't do that, I'll get in trouble. That's your belief. But nobody's going to tell me what I'm going to do with my life. No one is going to tell me what I'm going to do with my life. And I encourage everyone else to live in that same way, to stand in your power, to know exactly who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, then you'll always be pushed around. There's always people that are going to tell you what to do because you don't really know who you are. And until you know who you are, You're going to be easily manipulated. That's it. So whoever brought that up, thank you. Although it made me a sourpuss for the end of my video, but it also makes you remember who the fuck you are. That's it. Who you are. How powerful you are. The images of our imagination are the realities of which any physical manifestation is only the shadow. So the image of my imagination is that I'm a free human being. And that is how I live. You can choose to believe that you're not free. Or you can choose to believe that I create my own life and no one else is going to tell me how I'm living my life. It's really that simple. So, I hope everyone has an amazing Monday. I'm sorry for my energy shifting towards the end, but that just put me in a little twist and in love frequency. Thank you. I'm going to need to go and sit with this and do a short little meditation of getting back into a higher vibrational frequency. Right? We are free, beautiful, and sovereign. That's it. That concludes our chat for today. Don't forget to check out Omnicore, guys. He has the most beautiful creations, and I would love for you to just read about them and how powerful we are. Like, we need to know, not need, but it's great to know of the different modalities we have within us and all of these natural materials that conduct energy and can help amplify energy and amplify our own energy. It's incredible. So, have an amazing Monday. I'm going to post it, Chris. So, it's tagged at the bottom. Omnicore Tech is my necklace, who my necklace is created by. He literally hand makes these himself. So I really love to support small businesses, and especially a business that is going to help us to further create our reality and to bring us back into harmony with ourselves. So this helps us harmonize our frequencies. Have an amazing day, everybody. Thank you. Put your energy into me. I appreciate that. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you guys maybe later. Love you lots.